I would love for the child to go 1 month early and get a sense of it and not just like, hey, I dropped you off. But of course, I can't control the timing. I can't control the wait list.
What's up, fertility fam? Let's get these babies, ladies.
What's up, fertility fam? How are you? I look a little pale. I am getting over a head cold. I'm going to put some makeup on because I'm going to do a couple videos for you guys. Well, at least a bump day video for sure. And then we'll see how much energy I have. Anyway, I wanted to give an intro to this next video, or to this video that you're about to watch. I spoke with someone at a school. Shout out to Fertility Journals for recommending that I get started on my school hunting journey for the baby. So I had that meeting, and then after the meeting I wanted to talk to you guys right away, but I didn't do an intro, so I just want to explain what that is. And then also, after having the meeting, I filled out the admissions request form, and I just got an email back. Thank you for returning our admissions request form. You've been officially added to our wait list. If we have an opening for the month you requested, a member of our enrollment team will contact you soon to initiate enrollment. If your desired start date is currently unavailable, you will remain on the wait list as we wait an available space for you. As for predicting when you will receive a placement, please note openings occur when children withdraw from the school or when a child transitions to another classroom. We cannot predict when these events will occur. Technically, they know when someone's going to another classroom because they age out, but that's another story. Anyway, check out the video and I'll come back at the end and wrap up and explain this a little bit more to you. Thanks for watching. Here, I need somewhere to set you. Oh my God, that's too low. I just got off a virtual, a Zoom, whatever that's called these days, with the school that I think that Boss Baby is going to go to. Oh my God, first of all, sticker shock, $3,495 a month for the first year, every month. And then after the baby turns 1, it goes down $200, and then each subsequent year. Let me tell you what you get for that, what I get for that. The ratio, so there's no more than 8 children per classroom, and they do call it a classroom. I started to record it, but then I didn't want to be distracted, so I'm just going to try to go through all of these things in case anybody else is looking. I'm in New York. I just want to preface that if anybody balks at the price, it's New York. They do play-based learning, and it's learning from the very beginning. So they will support breastfed or formula. I just drop off the milk and the bottles when I take the baby. Obviously, you'd supply your own diapers and wipes. And he was like, some parents just have Amazon.com deliver it. When they're running low, they'll let you know. It's raining. That storm is coming. It's what's today? The 22nd of December. I gotta calm down. I'm so excited. The technical ratio of the teacher to student is 4-to-1, which obviously if there's 8 students, you know that there's 2 teachers, but they add an additional teacher, so they have 3 teachers instead of 2. It's not guaranteed at all times because that also helps with lunch coverage, break coverage, etc. It's 8 children in the classroom for the infant classroom. It's play-based learning. There's a parent board, and it's listed. They have their monthly curriculum broken down by week. He was saying you can take, and I talked with the head, I have to look it up, whatever it is, he runs the school. You can take a picture of it, and then there's a daily email that comes to the parents. It tells you how many diapers were changed, what type of diapers they were, how many naps, or what time the nap was. It's very detailed, and it has a couple pictures of the child, and that comes through an app called Tadpole. So if anybody has used that app, let me know with their kids, because when I tell you the world is different, the world is different. We had no such thing when Cheyenne was little. And then twice a year, there's a meeting with the parent and the teacher without the child, just to go over individual progress. It's all developmentally based. And so obviously in the first year, development is by month, right? So if your 3-month-old is at a different developmental phase than your 5-month-old. And so it's developmental learning. And I had asked, how can I reinforce, what you guys are doing so that I'm reinforcing it at home in the evening and on the weekends. And so that's when he mentioned the parent board with the monthly breakdown. Because obviously if they're doing something, you want to make sure you're reinforcing it at home. What else? I asked about baby-led weaning. They will support that. So whatever food I drop off, that's what they're going to give the child. They also have sign language. So I ordered a book on sign language, and I added some to the registry too, because I've been watching a lot of videos, and that's before baby actually has a language, but they can still understand. So you communicate things like, I only have one hand, but imagine my other hand is doing this exact same thing more. And it helps relieve frustration from the child of not being understood, right? So the sign language they can do sooner than they can actually verbalize. The school is open from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. They recommend that you drop your child off by 9 because that's when they kind of get settled for the day. But if whatever your work schedule is happening, you can't get there to 9:45, it's not like there's a conversation. That's what he said. You don't get called into the office. He was like, but it just is setting this, the scene for the day. If there's a doctor's appointment, I can take baby, drop them off, take them out, and bring them back versus, them being out for the day. What else? I have to look this other thing up. I ran out of room on my one paper, so I have all of these post-its that I was also writing notes on. This play-based learning, most people know of Montessori, but there's different ones, and I'll be honest, that's what I was thinking of, Montessori. But they are following the Jean Piaget. I think he said it's a Swedish doctor. I have to look it up. But they go by developmental learning, and it's adjusted based on the age. I asked if the baby was premature, would they offset that? He was like, yes. Meaning, if your baby is premature at 5 months old, they're not 5 months developmentally, depending on the level of prematurity, right? So you have to add that or subtract that time away from when their actual due date was. Hopefully that makes sense. He understood me. So they're only closed 7 days plus a week off. So next week they're off. The week between Christmas and New Year's they're closed. But then they're only closed 7 days. You know how some centers, at least when Cheyenne was little, they would be closed 11 days, like Veterans Day and Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day. But back then it was Columbus Day. So that was good. They also celebrate, because I asked about diversity, equity, and inclusion, of course. They celebrate all of the holidays in December. So they do Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa. I'm not a fan of Kwanzaa. Created by the FBI. That's a whole other video, but it's fine. Some people do celebrate it, so it's nice that the children will learn about those who celebrate it. Oh, I asked what the expectations of parents were. So it's not a co-op. You don't have to do so many hours. Some parents, he said, they never see them. Somebody else drops off the kid. Somebody else picks up the kid, which I'm assuming is a nanny. Whatever. You can be as involved. I can be as involved as I want to, which I'm excited about. So I can come in and read a book. He said some parents have special talents, like one is an opera singer and something else, and they'll come in and entertain the kids. There are events I can participate in. That's when we started talking about the December stuff, because they have a potluck. Potluck, everything has to be store-bought, so they know the ingredients, which makes sense because people have allergies. But you can come in for that. Birthdays, etc. So that is cool. I did that when Cheyenne was 4th, 5th grade. I wish I would have done it when she was younger. I'm definitely going to do it more with this child. So I think that is it. Oh my God, I just got so excited. Let me just make sure. Let me read the notes. Baby-led weaning, the ratio. I can ask to be put on the wait list now, so I printed that out. There's no cost to be put on the wait list, but when you come up, when they're going to confirm, if you're on the wait list and they now have room and your time is coming up, they ask that you put down a deposit that is half the monthly rate, so half of the $34.95. And then once your child is enrolled, they refund that deposit back to you. They don't hold on to it. So that is good. But so yeah, I'm excited about this. It's a non-sectarian school. Oh, I asked about discipline. Now, where's my notes on that? Because he was saying, and the way I phrased it, I went to Catholic school, so it definitely was called discipline, and it was definitely you were an errant child. But he definitely reframed that for me. Where's that note? He was up before the age of 5. Oh yeah, here it is. Under 5. Children are not willfully defiant, meaning they're not doing things to annoy you, basically. It's just that they don't understand. And so what they do at the school is they teach them how to act versus stop. So if someone is yelling, they wouldn't say stop yelling, because then what does the child know? You're not explaining to the child what they should do. So instead, you would just go up to them and be like, you know what, Joseph? What about if we use our inside voice? And then the child will model that behavior. Obviously, not just once. It's repetitive, like all things with children. So I like that. Basically, I was trying to figure out, is there a timeout? Is there not? And so no, there's not, because they're saying they're not willfully defiant. So you want to model them. You want to model the behavior that you want. You want to explain to them the behavior that you want, because they're just doing what they're doing, right? They're not doing it to upset you or to be rude, which I totally like that. Because even that I'm reframing. I think I definitely don't believe in corporal punishment. But then I also, and I remember like before Cheyenne was born, I took a child development class, and there's a thing, you know, you're not meant to tell your child that they're bad, right? Their behavior might be bad. But in this instance, you're not even saying the behavior is bad. You're explaining the behavior that you expect and giving them the opportunity to do that. So I think that's even more powerful. I might have to take another child development class. You know, as the years go on, you learn more things, which is always interesting because like you'll have people, even myself included, like, yeah, I have a child, I raised a child, but things have changed. Just like when I was little, we didn't have car seats. I rode around in the middle of the Lincoln Continental on the armrest. And thank God I live. But you know, you know better, you do better, right? And so just things have evolved. So it's always, you know, always be mindful when you take some advice from people who have already had kids because things change. Like I remember I breastfed Cheyenne and one of my aunts, I won't mention her name, but all of them watched Cheyenne, but none of them had nursed their children. And so I was explaining you can't give her water because she'll get water intoxication, like when she was an itty bitty. And they had never heard of that. And they'll tell you that I have never heard of that. One of my pet peeves when people say I've never heard of that. Just because you never heard of it doesn't mean it's not true. There are libraries filled with things you haven't heard of. Not saying that's to my aunt, just I've never heard of it as one of my pet peeves for that reason, because it's like people are trying to tell you it's not true. It's a passive aggressive way of saying it's not true or it doesn't make sense by saying I never heard of that.
So, what that mean, girl?
Anyway, so this is, you know, something new. So I'm definitely going to look up this under 5, not willful defiance. They just don't know any better yet. You have to teach them the right way instead of telling them, don't do that. You tell them what you want them to do, which is positive reinforcement. Because it's just like when you, as an adult, if someone tells you if you're yelling or if you're panicking, don't panic or calm down, that never works. Have you ever seen a screaming person, someone say calm down and they immediately calm down? You know what I mean? You model calmness and then they calm down. Anyway, I didn't mean to go on a rant about discipline, but I did want to ask them that. I think that's it. I'm just looking at the notes over here. I think that's it. I am going to look more up about the play-based learning. And he basically went into this whole thing about like neural path connections, which we know is happening a lot in the first year. Human babies learn the most in the first 3 years of life than they will for the rest of their life. Just that they learn more, they grow faster, mainly because they're born at the time that they're born, because that's when the mom can give birth, meaning they still have a lot of development to do, but they can't do it in utero because then the mom won't be able to birth that child. So that first 3 years is when the rest of that kind of catches up. I imagine that's true for all species. Like they're born at that time so they can get out, but then, you know, the mom has the rest of or the parents have the rest of the responsibility. So obviously you can't give birth to a 3-year-old or a child that is the equivalent of a 3-year-old because they're still in utero, because they wouldn't be able to pass through. So it's that perfect sort of time of they can functionally live outside of the body. They can be removed from the body safely at that time. And then the rest of the growing has to happen outside of the body. So for the human child, it's 3, up to 3. Obviously the formative years are through 7, the age of 7, but those first 3. And I do want this child to be in a school-like setting. There's a lot of socialization and just like active learning that I want to happen because of this time frame in those first 3 years. But also I just had a bad experience with like an in-home daycare lady when we lived in Los Angeles. Long story short, because I'm already at 14 minutes. Cheyenne was getting a rash. She had never had a rash before. I think she was like like 18 months. And this place, like most places, you drop off the diapers and they tell you when it's low, so you don't see an actual count. I don't know if this lady was giving the diapers away to other children or whatever, but it was like a regular interval that made sense. But I was like, something is not right. Like, why does she have this diaper rash? So I went and picked her up. I would normally pick her up at like 5:30. This day I went and picked her up at 2:30. And I have marked, and I got this from my mom, or actually my stepdad. I marked discreetly a spot on the diaper that I dropped her off in. And lo and behold, when I picked her up at 2, she had on that same diaper. It was soaking wet and it had the little fingernail polish mark on it. And I just took her out after that and never had her. So it's that kind of thing. And also there's just not enough educational developmental activities going on in those kind of home daycares. In my opinion, I live in New York, so if you live somewhere small and they have it together, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying for me. So I'll probably interview one more school, but I think this is it. And they're on like 93rd. They have multiples on the east and the west side, but there's one on 93rd. There's also one, I think he said, on 76 that's opening up. That'll be open by the time. So it could be either one of those depending on openings in the room, since they max out at 8 kids per room. But either way, it's a subway ride to my office. You know what I mean? Like, I have to get on that subway anyway, so I would just be dropping the child off. Oh shoot, I meant to ask if I have a stroller. I think that's when I'll just wear the baby, honestly, so that I don't have to worry about like storing a stroller there. I'm not going to take a stroller to work. Yeah, maybe I'll just do baby wearing. But either way, it's super convenient. If I have to take the baby to the doctor's right by our house, so we would stay on that same like 8th Avenue line, which is good. Anyway, I'm super excited. I've only had one cup of coffee. It's 12:41. I'm hyped though. I'm hyped, and I wanted to share with you guys. So let me know what your thoughts are. What you did for childcare. What were your thoughts? What were your questions? It was good. We talked for an hour. I had a lot of questions. He had a lot of answers. I definitely like the approach. So we'll see. I do want to interview one Montessori school, just, for shits and giggles. But I like this school. Oh, that wind is howling. This northeast storm is no joke. Anyway, so what did you think? There's a lot of information going on. I know I was super hyped and I'm excited. But let me just go into the details as promised about the wait list. Because yes, it is 12 months in advance that I'm on this wait list. Technically 11 months because I put in for November, just given the fact that I might go into labor. I might deliver in May, and then 6 months would be November, 6 months maternity leave, and then November. Or if I do deliver in June, I could start the child early. Either way, I think we'll have to see how it plays out. I would love for the child to go 1 month early and get a sense of it and not just like, hey, I dropped you off. But of course, I can't control the timing. I can't control the wait list. So here's what it is. Here's what they said. We understand you're trying to finalize your home and work-life plan, and childcare arrangements are an important part of that. Understanding how our wait list process works might help as you are waiting. The waitlist is organized by the date a family joined the waitlist, by the child's age, and by the requested start date. There are too many variables to provide you with a simple number representing your place on the waitlist. So basically, because I'm going for the infant room, right? I'm only, I guess, competing with other families that are also on the infant room who are trying to get in at the same time. Like, even if someone came in after me, but they needed an August date and that opened up, they're going to get a spot before me, even though my application was in first. Does that make sense? Because, the school's got to make money. They're not going to hold that spot for 4 months for me just because I came in early. You may certainly always reach out and see if there's a status update. However, we are not able to reach out to everyone on the waitlist when there's no news. We will contact you with any changes, updates. Please note, it is important you respond to any offer sent to you if you wish to remain on the waitlist, even if you are not accepting. If you do not respond to the first offer made, a second will be made when another spot becomes available. If you do not respond to the second offer, you will be removed from the waitlist. So, there you go. Like I said, I'm going to look up one more school, Montessori school. I might try to get on a second waitlist just because they only have... Oh, no, I can't remember. I was going to say they only have 8 spots, but that's not true because they have multiple infant classrooms. But I would say probably no more than 24 spots total. Obviously, kids age out, but even though the other room is a toddler room, it doesn't necessarily happen at exactly 13 months because they want the child to be walking and not, what did he say, like walking, not like wobbling, not like they need to have a steady gait, basically. So that could be, Cheyenne probably didn't really walk until she was 14 months. So there's a variable there. So I was just being cheeky when I said they could guess by 12 months. It's not exactly true, but thereabouts. But of course, that doesn't matter to you if you have to get back to work and you don't have childcare. So anyway, I really like this school. We'll see how it works out. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye. Baby, that's to us all.